Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1. Andy H. Wynn, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation today will be delivered by Father Hasso from the All Saints Catholic Church. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges. Okay, now I know he's here.
I saw it. There it is.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, Father.
Welcome.
Let us bow our heads in prayer. God of all creation, we come before you today to give you honor and praise. You are worthy of all praise. You are the source of all that is good. You are the source of all our blessings. Thank you for every gift that we have been given. We thank you for the opportunity to come and gather together this day to pray for the Commissioners' Court of Tarrant County. We ask that your Holy Spirit guide and direct their meeting so that it is full of wisdom, unity, and excellent results. Thank you for helping them to accomplish their work and goals this day. And may the Lord bless and keep you. May his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he look upon you with kindness and give you his peace and love. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Go Frogs.
Did you hear what he said? No. He said, "Go frog."
Mr. Manius, agenda announcements.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have two announcements as relates to the agenda this morning. The first is under the County Administrator section, item 8A1. This particular matter will be considered after closed session today. Second item will be under Human Resources, item 8E3. There is a revised court communication in your red folder. There are just some minor changes to that. Ms. Glenn will explain those whenever she makes her presentation today. Also, members of the court, just to remind you that next week, the 9th, will be the last full court meeting that we have for the year. That the next court meeting after that will be, I believe, the 23rd. It will be an abbreviated court meeting dealing with emergency items and also personnel items and also auditor-related issues. We also will have our choir here next Tuesday, so we'll have some snacks out there before court starts. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it is kind of the day of the purple. TCU obviously is, I think they're now in the 4th position, and if they have a good week this week, should end up being one of the teams to play in our Final Four. And you know, LSU just kind of pulled it out over A&M. No questionable calls. Everything was just perfect. And I thought everything went well. And Jack, you know, it's a shame that that I missed a couple of weeks ago and that you missed last week. And the past is the past, and, you know, we have to look forward. Go ahead and turn off that mic now, if you wouldn't.
Just for the record, if I showed up only when we won, y'all wouldn't have seen me much this year, but
Any number of comments, none of which I think I'm going to go ahead and step into at this point in time. This is our first Tuesday, and it is the the day of that we get to recognize our employees for their years of service, and thank you for the public service and for the commitment to public service that you've made. As I call your name, please stand and remain standing until I've completed that particular group, and then we'll move on to the next
Have we
group.
approved the minutes yet?
No, I thought we might get around to that one of these days, but if you'd like to go ahead and do that now,
Second.
we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. And was there anything else I was supposed to do before I
I
got to that?
think you're okay.
I'm covered now? There you go. That's what happens when you don't look at the agenda. Okay, we're going to begin with our 5-year employees. As Natalie told me this morning, she says, you're going to have a lot of fun with these 5-year employees. So this is one of these, especially since y'all are kind of new at this in the 5-year category. If it sounds like your name, stand up. You've got a pretty good idea. It's alphabetical. So you've got a pretty good idea where you come in that group. So if it doesn't sound like what I'm saying sounds like your name, still go ahead and stand up. Our first is Cynthia Dutra, District Clerk's Office. Cynthia. Scott Eldridge, District Clerk's Office.
No R's.
We're going to start rotating this. Or at least we're going to rotate the 5, 10, 15, and 20 years. And just let each one of y'all have an opportunity. I got nothing. Okay, yeah, here comes the next one. Annie? Is Annie here? Oh, that's a shame.
When you say her last name?
Irazo Olivieri. Hey, look, she recognized her. Sheila Jenkins with the 342nd District Court. Tammy McGehee, Community Development. Margaretta Polston, Human Services. Tina Shiro, District Clerk's Office. Busaba Velavan, Sheriff's Office. I was going to ask if I got anywhere close on that one. Gary Wade, Information Technology. And Carolyn Wren, Sheriff's Office. These are our 5-year employees. Let's give them a round. Thank y'all very much. Yeah, you can be seated now. I know everybody kind of looks at, okay, is this what I'm supposed to sit down? Now for our 10-year employees, Paul Benavides, Election Office. Damon Davis, Sheriff's Office. Sandra Elias, Juvenile Services. Stephen Green, Election Offices. Marcel Jackson, Sheriff's Office. Renee Contek, County Clerk's Office. Jeffrey Tyndall, Sheriff's Office. Well, these are our 10-year employees, and they're employed and they're working. So let's give them a round of applause, even though they didn't make it down today. I do understand that a lot of times folks can't make it, but we still very much appreciate the service that they've given to the county. Our 15-year employees, Melissa Barnes, Tax Office. There we go. Now we're back on track. Rufus Dill, Medical Examiner's Office. Oliver Evans, Information Technology. Kenneth Forge, Facilities Management. Letisa Jackson, Public Health. Sonia Jones, Public Health. Ricardo Marquez, Juvenile Services. Riley Shaw, District Attorney's Office. Herford Tom, Sheriff's Office. Anthea Washington, Juvenile Services. Teresa Wilburn, Sheriff's Office. These are our 15-year employees. Let's give them a hand. Thank you all very much. Now for our 20-year employees, Terry Livingston, Court of Appeals. Let's see, Terry. Mark Mullen, Sheriff's Office. Mark. T. Parker, Tax Office. Kyle Schugert, Sheriff's Office. Jeannie Sasha, Auditor's Office. Patricia Stewart, Community Development. Veronica Ibarra, Public Health. These are our 20-year employees. Let's give them a round. Now for our 25 and plus, we recognize them. I've called and talked with them, and some of these folks I talked with a few years back. Our first is Bobby Delamar with the Sheriff's Office. There's Bobby. Started out in confinement, worked at Corrections Center. Now he's, I guess, does transport and transports prisoners back and forth between the hospital. When I asked him about the memorable day, he said the first day he was in the office, he looked out the window and he saw a fight break out. And so, that is something that's always stayed in his mind. What he likes most is the fact that it is a steady job. He said the people that I've had a chance to work with over the years have really been great. He said it's a great place to work. Has two grandsons that keep him busy, a 13 and a 9-year-old. Bobby, we appreciate very much the 25 years of service you've given to Tarrant County. Thank you. Next is Sergio Gutierrez. Sorry about that. Been with the county for 25 years. Started in the Sheriff's Department in the jail, then moved over to work release, spent some time in the narcotics and high-risk warrants area, is now on the labor detail. He said when he was with the warrants in the patrol area, it was never a dull moment. He said, I really like the opportunity that I've been given here at Tarrant County, the diversification, the people I've had a chance to work with. When I called him for 20 years, he said, in all the 20 years that I've been here, I have never called in sick. And he said, I've gone on leave, and, he said, I've had scheduled things in the past, but I've never called in on a sick day. In 25 years, we're still right on tap with that. He said, I hope to be here for many more years. Since last we talked, he has a granddaughter that's just turned 5, and the son got married just a couple of weekends ago. So we appreciate, Sergio, very much your time with the county. Thank you all very much. Next is Rick O'Neill, 35 years. Rick, stand up. Rick he's in the IT department. He started in the county clerk's office in the summer, I guess, of '78 as a probate clerk, and then went full-time the fall in the marriage license department. From there, there was in elections, and then in 2002 went into IT. When I asked him about memorable moments, he said that he remembers when Robert Parton asked him to stand in for him in Austin before a House committee, and that while he was waiting to testify, his custom van got wrecked, and then he had to go back and testify. When I asked him what he liked most, again, it was the benefits, the stability, the people. He was, he's always thankful to Robert for giving him an opportunity to work in the county. He's had people. Your family is throughout the county, immediate family, extended family. Really, in fact, his grandfather was Jim Borman, who was a past district clerk. His mom worked in ag and at the county clerk's office for a while, and then Connie. In fact, I saw Connie, I guess, Saturday night. We decided to get away from Turkey and go have a meal, and ran into her at Outback. So we worked for the county for many years. I won't forget that the very first day that I was at this office in this position, Right before the first meeting, the laptop blew up. I mean, it just went. And Rick came forward and got everything working and got everything fixed for the meeting. So, you know, that's one of the things. And then as we were talking last week, one of the things he said, you know, when I first came here in '78, I was working on a manual typewriter. And by that, he meant manual. It wasn't one that we plug in. It wasn't an electric typewriter. It was a manual typewriter. So he said there's been a lot of things that have changed in the county over the last 35 years. And Rick, we are very proud that you've been a part of that and very proud of the job that you've done with Tarrant County. So thank you very, very much. Pictures, refreshments, 504C back in the back, 543 years of total service. Thank you all very, very much. Court members, you have before you our consent agenda.
Move for the approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Manius? Well, Mr. Phillips.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is requested that Commissioners Court approve change order number 7 to the Yates and Sons Construction Company and the Vendime Construction Company's contract to construct the new civil courts building. It's included in the 2006 capital improvement program.
It's a big one, but I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Can I see you after court?
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Phil, don't leave.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you and your staff for the great job y'all done in helping us get our building built from day one. And we're fixing to hit our last day here real soon. And all the hard work y'all get done and helping us get moved in, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you. Tracy Pelley and Bill Eccles and my support services group have done a great job.
You got
Thank
good
you.
people.
Thank you.
Everything's still on tap for next Monday?
Opening room?
Yes.
Great. I've had a lot of people comment and ask, and I told them, well, Pickett's going to have that thing open on the 8th if he has to be out there.
Don't be there. And that was the date we set over about a year ago.
Still under budget?
Still under budget. Under
Great.
budget, under time. It'll get even better.
Ms. Glenn, I know you're back there.
Move to receive and file personnel agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file personnel agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, and good morning. We have
Good morning.
4 additional items. The second item, pardon me, we're asking the court to approve an out-of-class pay extension for public health We've been to you before on this particular one. The court recalls Guy Dixon assumed the responsibility of Doug Fabio in the spring of this year. We've requested 2 extensions, or Public Health has, prior to today. This will be the 3rd extension, if granted by the court. Will take us through April of next year. This will give the new director, Mr. Tanasia, an opportunity to take a look at the position, where it fits in the organization and where he'd like for it to ultimately fit.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
So item number 3, we're asking the court to double fill a position as well as to grant a waiver. This is for the 297th District Court. The court coordinator is leaving county service at the end of this year with 400 hours. So the judge is asking for 2 things. He's asking for a waiver of 400 hours, as well as the opportunity to double fill the position before the court coordinator leaves. The double fill, if granted, will run from December 3rd through December the 31st. The impact to the general fund will be approximately $18,000.
I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Debbie, did you have a question?
Well, the effective date is December 6th.
December 6th.
That was that one revision we talked about.
Okay, okay.
Thank you, Debbie.
And that's, as I say, that's in the 15 budget. That was, okay. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
So item number 4, we're asking the court to approve a change to the table of organization to add 1 full-time court reporter position for County Criminal Court 5. As explained in your your communique, County Criminal Courts 3 and 5 have shared a court reporter since May of 2011. The new judge, Judge-elect McCoy, is requesting his own full-time court reporter position effective January 1st. The cost to the general fund, if granted by the court, will be approximately $134,000, including fringe benefits.
They have been sharing a court reporter.
Yes, sir, since 2011.
Debbie, is there, I know we talked about the possibility of maybe one of the other judges agreeing to go into a share. Has that been? Sugar, or you? Yeah, Sugar. Let's bring him up here and put him on the spot.
But it needs to be emphasized that Judge Cummings is still willing to share with her.
Judge Cummings is still willing to share but all the other incoming judges at the county criminal court level all want to have a court coordinator, a court reporter, sir. So nobody's willing to share at this time, except for Judge Cummings. She has nobody to share with.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we're fixing to, so the $133,000 is not in the budget.
No, sir, it is not.
Are they all supposed to be conservative Republican judges?
That's not a question for me, is it? I hope not.
I think that's just an open mic.
okay.
I think
Thank
that's
you.
just kind of an open
Thank you.
mic question from.
Thank you. No, I'm not.
It's a good open mic question, but it's an open mic question. What's the pleasure?
Well, I don't think we have an option. I'll move approval.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a reluctant motion and an even more reluctant second. And I assume that at this point in time, well, please vote. Motion passes unanimously, very reluctantly. Mr. Shugart, if you would convey that back to the fact that we're not real happy about the fact that we just paid $133,000 because people won't share.
Yes, sir.
And if they've got any questions, they can call in one of the 4 of us.
So the last item that we have for the court is item 5. We're asking the court to approve a change to the table of organization to add 1 administrative assistant position for the 8th Administrative Judicial Region. This position will be located in the County Administrator's Office and will be funded by the 8th Administrative Judicial Region.
That's in the budget, right?
It's to be reimbursed by the judicial district.
We've already approved the contract to do this. This is just changing.
Approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Not yet. Don't get ahead of yourself. Just because you got to come up here once doesn't mean you just get to come up here anytime you want.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
We have two items for your consideration today. The first item is that we are requesting interim funding for the FY 2015 Health Resources and Services Administration grant. That's HRSA. I never say that whole thing out. So it's a mouthful. Which supports the Ryan White Part C program services. The agreement is in the works. We just haven't received it in a timely fashion. So.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. The second item that we're requesting approval for is the Public Health Medicaid 1115 waiver. This is the intergovernmental transfer and monitoring demonstration year 3 payment, number 2, to the Texas Department of Health and Human Services, and we want to authorize the county auditor to release the payment prior to appearing on the claims register.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Mr. Beecham, come on down.
Jack, I heard your comments a while ago, but I believe that when you made that announcement 2 weeks ago, Arkansas had won over LSU. What was that score?
Got a bag? 30 to something, 30 to 10, I think.
I'm afraid it was 17-0. You can't even remember what the score was.
Doesn't happen that often.
You're right about that.
They didn't score?
They didn't even score. And I think that's the first time in a long time.
Kind of like A&M in Alabama.
Well, I was listening to the Arkansas, I had to go to Minnesota to attend to a family member. I was listening to the Arkansas-Missouri game on the radio. Even the Missouri announcers were pulling for us. That's pretty sad. We have one item for your consideration this morning. It's a bid award recommendation for RFP 2015-003. This is a new annual contract for hazardous material emergency response remediation. A recommendation will be to award on a per enterprise basis, selecting as our primary vendor TAS Environmental Services out of Fort Worth, Texas. Our secondary vendor, SWS Environmental Services.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Are there any appointments today? There being none, then you have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move for the approval of the claims and the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Ms. Diamond, I assume we have no bonds today, right? Okay. Briefing items, Mr. Manius?
Thank you, Your Honor. We have one item to bring to the court this morning. It deals with Ag Extension or AgriLife, and it's a program concerning the Heroes for Health program. Ms. Traylor is here to address the court at this time.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge and members of the court. My name is Shannon Johnson-Lackey, and I'm joined today with my colleague, Cassius McAllister. We're pleased to be before you this morning just to share with you information about this program. On the slide, it says Youth Choice, Youth Voice. We also call it Heroes for Health program. Some of the goals for this program were to mobilize underserved youth to take action around nutritional deficiencies, healthy food choices, and physical activity. This was done by training youth ambassadors from 3 schools, so that on a curriculum so they could go out and teach their peers. We also had the challenge of reaching 500 youth through this effort. One of the reasons why we're doing this program is because there are over 200,000 individuals who receive Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. And research has shown that their dietary intakes are not congruent with current recommendations such as My Plate. So part of the aim of the curriculum is to prepare the youth to teach their peers about how to make better choices. So on this slide, you can see that we partnered with Walmart Generation Hope Laptop Program and local ISDs. And we accomplished our goals through training and creative implementation. We utilized the Choose Health, Food, Fun, and Fitness curriculum from Cornell University. And through this, the youth ambassadors were able to reach over 700. And we know that's by collecting a survey called Common Measures. And the next couple of slides are just some pictures from some of our events. So those are some of our youth ambassadors that we utilized that taught the curriculum. At one event that we conducted, they received additional training, and they were actually videotaped teaching the lessons, and we used those tapes to share with other groups so that more kids and more youth could be reached. And this is them. They're actually teaching some of their peers at an event at TCU. And they reached about 60 participants on that day. And we had an opportunity to go to other locations, such as Joy James Elementary, where we reached the 4th and 5th grade there, Johnson 6th Grade Center, the entire student body at that school, and then Daggett. And that actually should say Daggett Middle. And now Cassius will speak with you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I also like to state that there was 9 of the Prairie View and University Corporate Extension Program counties that were involved in this grant, and we were supposed to reach about 5,000 youth, and we reached about 5,200. And I'm, like Ms. Shannon stated earlier, I'm very proud to say that we collected over 700 of those evaluations. And some of the results, or some of the counties that were also involved were Bexar, Dallas, Montgomery, Grimes, Washington, Cass, and Waller County, as well as Travis. And some of from our Common Measures evaluations, here are some of the information we gleaned from that on the learning portion of the evaluation, 86.2 agreed with the statement that they should eat healthy foods. 77.4 agreed that they knew what made up a balanced diet. 87.1 learned why it was important to eat a healthy diet. 86.3 agreed that they learned how to make healthy choices. From the action part on being more physically fit, 74.3 agreed that they would eat more fruit and vegetables. 82.1 agreed that they needed to drink more water. And on a side note, that was really a kind of really fun activity that we did with the groups. It was choose your drink, and we set out different things and asked. It was a slow, go, or stop drink, and we wanted them to get. So they had a really good time with that particular activity. And then lastly, on the physical activity, 85% of them agreed to being active, that it was fun. 90.7 agreed being active is good for them. And then 87.8 agreed that physical activity will help them stay fit.
I was going to say, is that hysterical activity? Or
Yeah, it was.
Physical. So we kept them active. Part of the activities was doing had a little ball that you throw and it catching them would tell you to do some kind of exercise, whether it be jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups. So the groups and we were doing really big groups. We were doing like entire PE classes, so it was really fun getting to hear them count off how many we had to do. Kind of brought my childhood back of going to elementary school a long time ago. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being here today.
Your Honor, that's all we have at this time.
And then we will recess our open meeting and proceed to close to discuss items exempted under sections 771.55. Having returned from our closed session, we'll now address the following matters.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, if we could go to the administrative session item, number one, we're requesting that the Court approve the engagement of Kelly Hart and Hallman as outside counsel to assist the county, represent the county in human resources related matters, and authorize the county administrator to sign the letter of engagement. The initial amount is an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Move for approval.
I'll second.
We have a motion to second. Any discussion? Please. Jim, was that a, I'm not back there, this isn't started yet? What did he say?
Well, we've already done it.
Your Honor, if we could go to the administrative section item one, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court engage the law firm of Kelly Hart and Hallman as outside counsel for the county to assist in human resource matters and authorize the county administrator to sign the letter of engagement. This initial contract is for an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
That's all we have at this time, Your Honor.
There being no further business, we're adjourned.
I'll